Zach Wilson takes the snap. Flag flies. He throws one deep across the middle of the field, and it is caught. Across midfield, Garrett Wilson makes the catch already at the Giant 46. Next play, Wilson rolled out of the pocket right, throws one across the middle. It is caught all the way to the 15-yard line of the Giants. But the Jets have no timeouts. Allen Lazard makes the play, but they got to get up the line. They have 8 seconds left to get down there and spike it, and they barely get the spike with 1 second to go in the game. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Bobby Valentine Sports Show. I'm your host, Frank Rampin, as always. And let's jump right into another week of the NFL season, week 8 of the NFL season. And this time I can really say it's come and gone because today is Halloween Day, Tuesday, October 31st. So Monday Night Football, everything's been wrapped up. Crazy week of the NFL. And let's just jump right into it. Weekly recap, jump right in. Week 8, NFL recap. What just happened out west? What just happened? In both the AFC West and the NFC West, we saw some surprising outcomes. Maybe not surprising outcomes, and the divisions look a little bit different. Maybe one of them looks a little bit different than most people think. Honestly, both of them, in my opinion, as a fan of a team that is in the AFC West, as you can clearly tell. That's not going to happen anytime soon. So, what just happened out there? Let's start with the 49ers lost their third consecutive game after starting the season 5-0. 3 losses in a row. Now, the Seattle Seahawks, who won their game, they now have the top spot in the the NFC West. I always mix up a National League, NFC, AFC. I always do that. But not NFC. I just did it again. The NFC East. Oh my goodness. The NFC West is being led by the Seattle Seahawks after Week 8. Not sure everyone who would have guessed that, especially after the Niners start 5-0. But 3 losses in a row for them. And, oh man, the mighty Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Denver Broncos in Denver. Supposed to be a snow game. It snowed before the game. There was snow in the bleachers and in the stands and stuff, but there was no snow on the field. So a little bit of a letdown, honestly. But the Chiefs lose to the Broncos, and the 49ers lose their 3rd time in a row. The Seahawks are on top in the NFC West. All right. Moving along with the weekly recap, we'll go to the best section at the end of it. The play of the day. All right? So usually we just pick out one play here, one little play of the day. This one was a little bit more special. I didn't really know what to choose here, so we're going with the first career start, the performances, the 4 career touchdowns now. The first 4 career touchdowns in the career of Will Levis out of Kentucky made his first career start on Sunday for the Tennessee Titans, wearing the old school throwback Houston Oilers jersey, looking clean. Created a lot of controversy in Houston, though, but they looked good. He balled out. He became the 3rd player in NFL history to have 4 touchdown passes in his first career game, joining Fran Tarkenton, the legend from the Minnesota Vikings, that Purple People Eater offensive weapon that they have, the quarterback. Really almost the first ever scrambling quarterback, Fran Tarkenton. He was the first player ever to have 4 touchdowns in his first career start, and the most recent and the second was Marcus Mariota. So Will Levis becomes the 3rd player in the history of the NFL to have 4 touchdown passes in his first career game. And interestingly enough, the last 2 have come for the Tennessee Titans. Marcus Mariota and Will Levis, even though they're wearing the Houston Oilers jerseys, but still Tennessee. Crazy stuff. So we're going to jump into this right now. First quarter here, about 2.5 minutes to go. Will Levis is going to fake a handoff to the King Henry. He's going to pump fake, and he's going to loft one deep down the left sideline for D-Hop, who looks like it's back in 2016 now. You'll see that as this game keeps going. And that bomb for a touchdown is the first touchdown of the career for Will Levis. We'll jump ahead here now. Second quarter now, about 5.5 minutes to go here. Inside the 20-yard line, Will is going to find across the middle. Look who it is yet again. DeAndre Hopkins makes a move at the goal line, spins in for his second touchdown of the day. So maybe all it took was for Will Levis to come in, and DeAndre Hopkins will look like he once was about 5 years ago. So 2 touchdowns in the first half, both of them to DeAndre Hopkins. They're up early, 14-3. Later on in the ball game, 14-9 ball game, Tennessee still on top. On their own 39-yard line here, Levis drops back to throw deep down the right sideline this time. Hopkins again. This time he's wide open and walks in for his 3rd touchdown of the day. DeAndre Hopkins, how many times has he had a third down? How many times? How long ago? When was the last time he had 3 touchdowns in a game? Looking like D-Hop of old times, and Will Levis. First three career touchdowns, all to DeAndre Hopkins. Unbelievable. And this was the last one, this 4th touchdown. This is the one that I almost just made the play of the day by itself. But I feel like I had to throw them all in there because, I mean, what a day. What a debut from Will Levis. So right there, those 3 touchdown passes to DeAndre Hopkins really set up what like the rest of this was going to be. The Falcons were able to hang around, but Will Levis, with 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter, on the, excuse me, we'll jump ahead here. 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter here on a 2nd and 11 play. Tennessee's up 21-16 here on a 2nd down and 11. Fakes the handoff to Derrick Henry, rolls to the right, looks back left, and throws one across the field, kind of off his back foot, beautifully dropped into the bucket. Perfect throw right there. Unbelievable pass there from Will Levis. That one really impressed me. I saw that one live, and as he let it go, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And it landed perfectly in the bucket. We're going to go back and look at this one again. Look at him. He fakes this handoff, and he runs right outside the hash marks, almost all the way to the numbers. Looks back all the way across the field and hits the post that's going all the way to the opposite back corner pylon. That's an unbelievable throw. Gutsy throw to make, especially in your first career game. Unbelievable day for Will Levis, and I mean, I guess he was comfortable. After those first 3 touchdown passes, he was settled in, locked and loaded, ready to go, airing it out down the left sideline for a huge, huge play there. So Will Levis looked unbelievable in his first career start, and I have Kirk Cousins on my fantasy team, so I have a waiver claim in for Will Levis right now, and I need him. And I need him to keep doing what he's doing, and I need him. So we'll see what happens, see if he's going to be able to keep that up. And the Kentucky product looks very, very good, very promising after one career start. He doubled Ryan Tannehill's touchdowns on the season in his first career NFL game. Ryan Tannehill had 2. He had 4 in his first ever game. 3rd player ever to do that in his first career start. All right, move on to the game of the week now. And this is going to be a little bit of a different, very interesting game of the week segment here because it's Giants-Jets from East Rutherford, New Jersey. Oh boy, what a weird game this was. And if you saw it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But this game between the Jets and the Giants was absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. We'll get into the numbers after it, but let's just jump right into it. Pick it up here in the first quarter. First drive of the day here for the Jets. 3rd and 5. Zach Wilson takes the shotgun snap. Kayvon Thibodeau, Giants rookie first rounder, gets there, forces the fumble. It's picked up by Jihad Ward of the Giants defensive line. Inside the red zone already for the G-men. What a play, what a start for the Giants on defense. But it will not always be so easy for the Giants. Maybe on defense. Their defense looks solid, but as we'll get through this game, if you saw anything that happened, you'll know. So that drive stalls out. Giants don't end up getting a first down. They have to settle for 3. Graham Gano nails a 31-yard attempt, and that is actually the 100th career-made field goal of the career of Graham Gano. So 3-0 Giants. We're going to jump ahead now. Still the first quarter here. End of the first quarter. 1st and 10 play here for the Jets. Zach Wilson, he's going to take the snap, drop back in the pocket, and he's just going to check it down here to Breece Hall. Breece Hall makes 2 guys miss. Off to the races down the right side. That makes another few guys miss, and now he's gone. What a sequence of moves there from Breece Hall to get away from danger. And honestly, very poor tackling from the Giants defense, but what a play there. Look at that. Didn't look like anything was going on. It looked like nothing was home. Just an easy check down for a couple yards there from Zach Wilson. Smart play. And Breece Hall just turns it on and goes to the house with it. Unbelievable play from him. Looks like his ACL is healed and he's ready to go. So next time Giants get the ball back, work it down into Jet territory. They're going to settle for a 47-yard attempt. Graham Gano pulls it left. So his second attempt of the day, no good. The score remains 7-3. New York Jets after Breece Hall. The Giants are unable to respond to that long Breece Hall catch and run. So then Tyrod Taylor gets injured in this game. As you guys know, Daniel Jones, the quarterback of the New York Giants, he's been hurt for the past couple weeks with a neck problem. He's gotten sacked so many times this season. He's been taking a beating. He's been hurt. Tyrod Taylor has played the past couple of games for the Giants. He's been all right. he played pretty solid against Buffalo. They were able to finally get some sort of a game together. In this game, in the second quarter, Tyrod Taylor had to leave with an injury. So backup third string quarterback Tommy DeVito has to come into the game, and it was not a very welcome sign for Giants fans. They were not really able to throw the ball at all, and it really was just hand the ball to Saquon, and if he wins it, okay, nice. And that was really the game plan from there. So if you can tell, that's what we're at this point in a rainy Sunday afternoon in East Rutherford, New Jersey. So jumping ahead now, 1st and 10 here for the Jets. And coming into the end of the second quarter, Zach Wilson, unable to handle the snap. That is recovered by the Giants. Another turnover for the Jets offense. Second fumble of the day by Zach Wilson. Second turnover of the day by the Giants defense. So 7-3 ball game here. Giants, big stop, big turnover before the half. Have a chance now to go up before halftime. So on 2nd and 4, they were unable to do that, though. We moved to halftime, and now the Giants get the ball coming out of the half. First possession after halftime, Saquon Barkley gets the carry on 2nd and 4 and breaks through the line into the secondary. Huge run for him, about a 35-yard gain for him, all the way inside of Jet territory. We'll jump ahead now. A couple plays later, 3rd and goal now. Tommy DeVito fakes the handoff to Saquon because, they think that they're going to give them every single play. He pulls it, walks right into the end zone. First career touchdown for Tommy DeVito. 10-7 G-Men. And after a whole lot of punt, defense, nothing, punt, defense, nothing, punt, defense, nothing, punt, we move ahead now to the fourth quarter. 10-7 ball game still. Absolutely nothing happened for about an hour and a half in this ball game. Giants just ran the ball with Saquon, punted. The Jets couldn't do anything with Zach Wilson at quarterback, punted in the rain. So we jump ahead to now. Only 1 and 30 seconds left to go in the ball game. 4th down and 10 for the Jets on their own 41. Here's the ball game. They need a first down. 4th down and 10 with 1 and 30 to go. Zach Wilson surveys the field. Here comes Kayvon Thibodeau, and he gets there for the sack all the way back at the 25-yard line, brings him down, turnover on downs. What a game for Kayvon Thibodeau. He had 2 sacks on this possession, 3 on the day, basically sealing the game here for the Giants. But the Giants have to run the ball because they have Tommy DeVito as their quarterback, but they're inside the 25-yard line. They're in field goal range already on the turnover on downs. So they get the 3rd down. They hand off to Saquon Barkley on 3rd and 3. And keep in mind, the Jets had all 3 of their timeouts after this turnover on downs. So they were able to get 2 stops, making it 3rd down. We'll call 2 timeouts. 3rd down and 3. Giants are trying to run it with Saquon Barkley to get the first down. And he is blown up, unable to get the first down here. Stuffed just across the line of scrimmage. He gets about a yard and a half, maybe 2. Jets take that last timeout with just about 28 seconds left to go in the game, and the Giants line up for a 35-yard field goal to make it a 6-point game with 26 seconds to go. 28 seconds left to go. Graham Gano lines up for a 35-yarder, and he pulls it left again. No good from 35 yards away. 24 seconds left to go in the ball game. Jets get the ball back on the 25 with a chance, down by 3. First play of that ensuing drive for the Jets. Zach Wilson takes the snap, flag flies, he throws one deep across the middle of the field, and it is caught. Across midfield, Garrett Wilson makes the catch, already at the Giant 46. Next play, Wilson rolled out of the pocket right, throws one across the middle. It is caught all the way to the 15-yard line of the Giants. But the Jets have no timeouts. Allen Lazard makes the play, but they got to get up the line. They have 8 seconds left to get down there and spike it, and they barely get the spike with 1 second to go in the game. 1 second left, 35-yard attempt now for Greg Zuerlein to tie the game on the opposite end of the field. As time expires, Zuerlein kicks it, and of course, it is good. We have a tie ball game here in East Rutherford, New Jersey, 10-10. We're headed to overtime. So the Giants had a 35-yard field goal attempt on to put the game basically out of reach. A 6-point game with 25 seconds to go in the game. They miss it. The Jets go down the entire length of the field in 2 plays with no timeouts, spike the ball, kick a field goal to tie it up to send the game to overtime. After nothing happened for literally 2 hours, 3 hours in this ball game. The Jets go down in 2 plays, drive the entire length of the field with no timeouts to tie the ball game up. Like, what is going on here at MetLife Stadium? What is going on? So the Giants get the ball first. They win the toss. They get the ball first in OT, and they could not do anything. They go 3 and out. So they punt the ball to the Jets, and Zach Wilson gets a chance to win the game. On 3rd and 10, he looks to the left sideline, and Garrett Wilson is able to make the play, but it is ruled that he is short of the line to gain. But after review, there was a flag on the field, and it was a defensive pass interference, so automatic first down for the Jets. Next sequence of downs. 3rd and 5 here for the Jets. Zach Wilson takes the shotgun snap, looks left, looks right, throws one off his back foot down the right side. Short, but Adoree Jackson runs right through the receiver. Doesn't give him a chance to get the ball, doesn't get his head around, never makes a play at the ball. Pass interference, they're calling that every day. The Jets don't even waste any time running another play. On 1st and 10, they try a 33-yard field goal by Greg Zuerlein. Just sneaks it through the left upright. Game winner, 13-10 final. Jets win. And what just happened in this game? What just happened? There was 24 combined punts in this ball game. 23 combined points, mind you. 24 combined punts over 23 combined points. The most punts in a single ball game since 1998. And it was just an absolute slugfest between an inner city rivals in a rainy, gross afternoon at MetLife Stadium. The Jets are able to prevail over the Giants in a sloppy ball game. 13-10, 23 points in total in a game where there were 24 punts. Football is craziness sometimes. Alrighty, so now we'll move into our NFL standings update, and we got a lot to talk about here as the standings are becoming ever more interesting. And this will be the last week we have an NFL standings update without a wild card update. So next week we'll have the wild card numbers factored into this, but this is the last week as this is the last week of the first half of the NFL season. So, standings update, we'll start with the AFC East, as always. The Miami Dolphins beat down on the New England Patriots. Tua Tagovailoa has never lost to the Patriots, so 6 wins now against the New England Patriots for Tua. Bill Belichick, he's got his number, and they move to 6-2 now atop that AFC East. Second place, the Buffalo Bills. They played on Thursday Night Football in Buffalo. They played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were able to get that win. It was a pretty handed win. The Bucs were able to make it pretty close at the end. There was actually a Hail Mary at the end that Chris Godwin had a shot at, but the Bills were able to win to get to 5-3. But, I mean, they look weird. Whenever they play a really good team with a solid defense, Josh Allen gets flustered. So it'll be interesting to see how that continues as the season progresses. If Josh Allen is able to figure it out against those tougher defenses, because that's what he's going to have to do if he's going to have to get over the hump in this playoffs. Third place in the AFC East is the New York Jets. They beat the Giants. We just talked about them in a crazy game of the week in overtime with 24 punts in the game, only 23 points. We talked about that. They moved to 4-3. The Jets lose Aaron Rodgers on the 4th play of the season. Zach Wilson's at the helm. They're 4-3. That's interesting. They got a chance right now. And Rodgers, I don't know if you guys saw, but he's bouncing around, throwing passes and warm-ups. Like, the guy tore his Achilles a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. Like, relax. But is he going to be able to be back? That guy's a psycho. I don't know what kind of drugs or ayahuasca or something he's taken, but he looks great. His recovery is something I've never seen before. It's unbelievable. And right, bringing up the rear in the AFC East is the New England Patriots. They lost to Miami. They fall to 2-6, and the Patriots have the 3rd fewest points per game right now at 14.5. Not very ideal for the New England Patriots or Bill Belichick. Move over to the NFC East, the Philadelphia Eagles. 7-1 now. They beat Washington, but those Commanders, they always play a close game against the Eagles. The Commanders have something they know about those Eagles to make them play well every single time, but the Philadelphia Eagles were able to come out on top. They did the Commanders were the first team that I know of. They stopped a tush push by the Eagles. They stopped it on 1st and goal, and Jalen Hurts fumbled, and the Commanders got it. So the first time I ever saw a tush push get stopped, Commanders forced a fumble and got the ball. Then, later in the game, the Eagles just decided, we're going to do a fake one. They line up in their whole tush-push formation. They're all in there tight, and they just run like a reverse outside run to DeAndre Swift. Nobody touched him. Touchdown. Just unbelievable. And A.J. Brown had another unbelievable day. He made a ridiculous one-handed touchdown catch. He's all over the place. He looks like an absolute beast. A.J. Brown just became the first player in the history of the National Football League to have 125 or more receiving yards in 6 straight ball games. 6 straight ball games with 125 or more receiving yards for A.J. Brown, a new NFL record. Jerry Rice didn't do it. Chad Ochocinco didn't do it. T.O. never did it. First player of all time. 6 games in a row with 125 or more receiving yards, A.J. Brown. Moving on to second in this NFC East, the Dallas Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys moving on to 5-2. The Washington Commanders, we just talked about them. They played a close game against the Philadelphia Eagles, but they lost that game. They fall to 3-5. But Sam Howell has been, honestly, very surprising. His numbers are very good. He throws for a lot of passing yards. He has a little too many turnovers, but 4 of them were in one game against Buffalo. So he's been pretty good. The New York Giants, they lost another tough game to the Jets in our game of the week. Crazy game, and they have the fewest points per game in the NFL. They're averaging 11 points per game. That's a rough number. 11 points per game last in the NFL. They're sitting at 2-6 now at the bottom of this NFC East. Rough start to the year for the Giants. Rough first half, really. We'll move over to the AFC North now. Leading the AFC North is the Baltimore Ravens. This division is getting pretty interesting, and I kind of thought that it would be. The Baltimore Ravens sit at 6-2. They just beat Arizona. The Steelers are 4-3. They lost to Jacksonville. The Browns are 4-3, and so are the Bengals. So 6-2 Ravens lead the division, and then the Steelers, Browns, and Bengals are all tied at 4-3. The Bengals looked a little bit more like the Bengals this week. Joe Burrow played like Joe Burrow. They beat San Francisco. They had a great game. Joe Burrow had a couple Joe Burrow-esque plays where he was escaping, running around in the pocket, making great throws, extending plays. The Browns, P.J. Walker again at the helm. Deshaun Watson not playing yet again. Not great. That defense is pretty good, but they just lost to Seattle. The Steelers, they lost to Jacksonville in a pretty questionable game. Deontay Johnson was freaking out after the game, saying that the refs were paid, and that was an unbelievable rig job, and it was a bad game for them. Wild stuff from him. The Steelers had the second fewest points per game at 13.9. So, a couple rough offenses going around. The NFC North, right now, about halfway through the season, the Detroit Lions are leading the NFC North. They are sitting at 6-2 now. They just absolutely smacked the Raiders on Monday Night Football, my team. The scoreboard maybe wasn't that crazy, but they absolutely smoked us. For some reason, the Raiders' defense was able to hold up in the red zone 3 separate times to hold them to 3 field goals within the 20-yard line. That really was able to keep the Raiders in the game. That and nothing else. The Minnesota Vikings, they just got back to 4-4. They just beat the Green Bay Packers, but Kirk Cousins just tore his Achilles. He's going to be out for the season. That's a major blow for this Minnesota Vikings team, who just looked like they were starting to turn it around. Looked like they had a chance. They just jumped up to second in the division. They're going to be in the wild card hunt. Tough scene for him, but they just traded for Josh Dobbs. So it looks like the Arizona Cardinals are expecting Kyler Murray back by next week, as they have traded Josh Dobbs before the trade deadline to the Minnesota Vikings. And that's going to be kind of interesting, because Josh Dobbs got a lot of hate at the beginning of the year as he didn't do very good last year for Tennessee, but he's played pretty well. And it'll be kind of interesting to see if he's able to lead this Vikings team to a couple wins. The Packers, they just lost to the Vikings. Just talked about that. They fall to 2-5. They don't look very good. Jordan Love doesn't look very good. That offense is all out of sorts. They just traded Rasul Douglas. So, yeah, it doesn't really look like it's going to be the year for the Packers. And the Bears, they're 2-6 now. They lost to the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Yeah, Tyson Bagent is only good against the Raiders because that's what we do. We make anybody be Jesus Christ. You saw what happened to Jahmyr Gibbs last night. Jahmyr Gibbs outgained the Raiders by himself. He had 189 yards by himself combined, receiving and rushing, and the Raiders as a team had 157. So Jahmyr Gibbs, Tyson Bagent, they can just do whatever they want against the Raiders. I mean, really anyone can. It's kind of a joke at this point. The AFC South, as of right now, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in a very questionable game. There's a lot of bad refereeing in that game. Like I said, they moved to 6-2. The Houston Texans, they lost to the Carolina Panthers. Very weird game. The Panthers got their first win of the season. C.J. Stroud didn't look very good. This game was pretty ugly. Honestly, there was a lot of rain going on in the East Coast, in the Northeast on Sunday. A lot of sloppy football. The Texans were involved in that. They are at 3-4 now. The Titans, talked about Will Levis a little bit. He made his first career start. He had 4 touchdown passes in that start. The third player in the history of the NFL to have 4 touchdown passes in his first career start. Pretty impressive, and they beat Atlanta. So they moved to 3-4 now too. They looked a little bit better over the past couple weeks. They did not trade Derrick Henry at the deadline, so that's good news for them. They're going to keep him. Maybe Will Levis will be able to turn this offense around. The Indianapolis Colts, they lost to the New Orleans Saints. Gardner Minshew hasn't looked great in the games that he started, which is odd because in the games that he came in after Anthony Richardson got hurt, he's looked great. So if he starts, he's not doing great, but if he comes in as a backup when you need him and he's not ready, that's when he's good. So they fall to 3-5. They round up this AFC South division. We'll move over to the NFC South now. This division is another weird one. The Falcons and the Saints are both 4-4, but the Falcons hold the tiebreaker. So 4-4 Falcons sitting in first place here. They just lost to the Tennessee Titans. Just talked about them. Desmond Ridder actually just got hurt on Sunday. Interesting for them. Weird division here. The Saints are 4-4 now. They just beat Indianapolis, but I mean, they haven't been very good either. That offense doesn't look very good, but that defense does. So the defenses in the division have really been keeping them around. Third place at 3-4 after a loss on Thursday Night Football to Buffalo in Buffalo, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had a chance to win this game, but that they haven't been looking great still. They started off the year looking solid. Baker looked pretty good the first couple weeks. After that, they've kind of lost it a little bit. See if they're going to be able to get things back on track. And the Panthers, just talked about them. They got their first win of the season, moving to 1-6, first win of the year at home against the Houston Texans. Good for them. No more winless teams left in the NFL. We'll head out to the West. We started this episode talking about the West, and we'll end talking about the West. The AFC West started off. Kansas City Chiefs fall to 6-2, their first loss of the year since week 1. When they lost the opener on Thursday night to the Detroit Lions. But they lost to the Denver Broncos. Mahomes has never lost to the Broncos before in his career. This was a 16-game winning streak that the Kansas City Chiefs have over the Cleveland Broncos. That was snapped. It was the first time that Mahomes has lost to Denver. And how about this? This was the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career that he lost a road division game. That's insane. That's a joke. That's the first road division game he's ever lost? God, we're such a joke. AFC West, we got to figure it out. So, and they didn't score a touchdown. They scored 9 points in this game. They didn't score a touchdown. So they snapped this 16-game winning streak that they had against Denver. First time that Denver beat Mahomes, and it was the first time Mahomes lost a road division game. And they didn't score TD, given he did have the flu. But, I mean, wow. The Chargers, they beat Chicago on Sunday Night Football. They pretty handily beat them. Austin Eckler looked like he was back and healthy. Looked like he back to himself, catching passes out of the backfield all over the place. He had a long one for a touchdown. He's always really good. My Raiders, they just got absolutely smoked by the Lions. 3-5. They're 3-5 now. Played terrible. The offense is atrocious. Jimmy G is unbearable to watch, if I'm going to be honest. He's very bad. I'm going to be honest. I was skeptical because why did we get rid of Derek Carr instead of for Jimmy G? In my opinion, I think Derek Carr is better than Jimmy G. You know how I feel about Derek Carr. I've said a lot of good things about Derek Carr. He's the greatest quarterback the Raiders have ever had. Maybe he's struggling right now with the New Orleans Saints, but if Derek Carr was on the Raiders, this would be his best defense he's ever had. He had the worst defense in the history of football by any quarterback of all time for 9 seasons. I talked about that in the first episode of this series, the NFL podcast. Our defense is better than I've seen it in a while. Like, we had 3 turnovers, and we forced 3 red zone field goals. So that's 3 takeaways and 9 points instead of 21. That's a big deal. That's the only reason we were in that game, because we had one good drive on the entire day. And it was that one drive where, for some reason, for the first time all season, we were just able to run the ball. And we just ran it every play of the drive with Josh and just ran it into the end zone. Don't know how that happened. But Jimmy G missed Devontae Adams on 2 bomb touchdowns. One of them would have been a 98-yard touchdown. One of them would have been a 60-yard touchdown. Devontae Adams finished the day with 1 catch for 11 yards, where he should have had like over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's getting frustrated. You can see it. And the Raiders, this offense who had Devontae Adams, who's arguably the greatest receiver in the league, last year he had 1,400 receiving yards and 14 touchdowns, right? Josh Jacobs was the NFL's leading rusher last year. He led the NFL in rushing by hundreds of yards, multiple 100 yards. They have those 2 players. They have Hunter Renfrow. They got Jacoby Myers. 4th worst offense in league. 14.6 points per game. Josh McDaniels, what the hell are we doing, bro? What the hell are we doing? Figure it out. And now the Broncos are tied with us. We're 3-5, so are the Broncos. They beat the Kansas City, and that snapped their 16-game losing streak against them. Great. Now we're tied with Denver. That's so disgusting. Like, the talent that we have compared to Denver is ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's just a bad organization. No one's going to know how to turn it around. It's a joke. Sorry, my rant's over. Now, NFC West, wrap it up. Very, very weird. We talked about this at the beginning. The Seattle Seahawks. They beat Cleveland. They're 5-2, sitting atop the NFC West. Because after the 5-0 49ers lost to Cincinnati this weekend, now they're 5-3. They were 5-0, now they're 5-3. Wow, sitting pretty at the top of the league. Now they're not even sitting pretty at the top of their division. So a lot can change in a 3-week span. 49ers are going to have to figure out soon. They're going into their bye, so maybe they have a chance to do that. But, wow, what's going on? The LA Rams, they lost to Dallas. They are 3-5 now. Matt Stafford didn't look very good, and I believe he got hurt. The Arizona Cardinals, they lost to Baltimore. They're 1-7 now, but it looks like Kyler Murray should be on schedule to come back as they just traded away Josh Dobbs, as I'm not sure they would do that if they didn't know that Kyler Murray would be coming back soon. So, looking forward to see him back in action soon, as this week of the NFL standings is wrapped up. Next week, we're going to go have some wild card action for you, because next week, week 9, marks the halfway point throughout the NFL season. So, that'll do it here for the NFL episode, week 8. And if you want to follow us on our Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Valentine Sports Show, we got all the shorts from these episodes uploaded on that. If you want to follow us that way, make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. And if you need anything related to the Valentine Sports Academy, go to bvacademy.com for anything you might need there. And that's Week 8 NFL Podcast. Peace out.